can't say this enough. You gotta do your homework when you see content that's uploaded on YouTube. Hell, you need to do your homework on even stuff that I talk about. But what I'm getting at is there's a lot of content out here on YouTube that's really intended to get you to visit their page, click their upload, and ultimately their page may be monetized, it may not, but if their page is monetized, you get enough people who click on that content and look at it long enough, guess what? You're gonna make some money. Now, I'm not gonna name names, but I'm gonna kind of describe the content that I've been checking out lately, and content that I am skeptical of. Recently I saw one where a guy uploaded that you could, on these three apps or courier companies, you could make $2,000 a week. The only way that you're likely to make $2,000 a week with those three courier companies is if you're actually contracted with all three of them and somehow you're able to fit them all into a weekly schedule and everything lines up correctly. But if you're looking at, now, I'm going to caution by saying that it could be possibly in your market that one may pay as much, but I have yet to see one that actually pay, that where people are actually making $2,000 or more. In my research with a lot of these courier companies or these carrier companies, the pay has been somewhere, at least in my neck of the woods, it's been somewhere between $900 and $1,250 a week. Now, specifically to one person's upload, his lead company was Pace Logistics. And I spoke to someone from Pace Logistics in 2023. And the lady told me almost verbatim, we wouldn't be able to pay you what you say you're making already a week or even a month. But we do have routes. We have some secondary routes that we're trying to fill, and then maybe there'll be some primary routes that we will be fulfilling. So what does that tell you? Now, in 2023, I was not yet at that time earning 10 G's a month or producing 10 G's a month. I was somewhere in that $7,000 to $8,000 range, $7,000 to $8,000 range, which comes out to about $1,600, $1,700 a week. So that tells me that it would have been a pay cut. It would have been a pay cut. Another example, how you can earn, what was it, $1,200 in 3 hours, $1,300 in 3 hours, $1,350 in 3 hours. And supposedly it is possible that you could do it by working 3 hours a day, 3 days a week, doing commercials, where you appear in commercials. Not everybody can do that. Not everybody will do it. And I'm not saying that by your own will that you would not do it. It's just that not everybody's going to get in on that opportunity. It's not going to happen. Not everyone will be selected to do that. That's what I'm getting at. Again, you got to do your homework with these things. And I'll say again, do your homework with what I put out there. Okay? If I put out something along those lines, do your homework about it. You know what? One of my motivations in 2023, when I saw all that shit in 2023, where about you can make $2,000 a week doing this, $2,500 a week doing that. First of all, I wanted to know what it's like to make that. Again, for me, one of my motivations is that I would not talk about certain numbers unless I've done them. I'm not going to overhype stuff, and I think maybe some of it is in part my background as a reporter, and that you all, I mean, at least back then, you did the investigative work to find out whether it was valid or not, whether it was accurate or not. And so when I speak of 10,000, I can show you how I earned 10,000 a month. I have done that. When earning 2 G's a week on a consistent basis, I can show that. Yeah, so I don't want to be seen as just rambling as an old guy. What I'm saying is that again, it's all about credibility. And another example, what I've seen recently, I saw a short that was saying that described how what's it like being a Home Depot delivery driver. And of all people, I'm surprised that was in the description. Of all people, he should know goddamn well that he is not a fucking Home Depot driver. He's an independent contractor. I mean, maybe he could say that he's a driver for Roadie, which is the app that it was based on. But even then, I wouldn't call myself a driver for fucking Roadie. Shit, I wouldn't call myself a driver for any of these apps. I drive for me. When people ask me what company that you drive for, I say mine. I'm like, huh? And then I hand them my business card. They're like, oh, well, do you have people driving for you? Well, not yet, but I've considered it, but not yet. Yeah, that's my answer. Yeah, I drive for me. So that's clickbait. That's view bait. That's the shit that plays to YouTube's algorithm. And I'm not jealous of these folk. I am not jealous of these folk. Somebody may say I'm trying to hate on them. I'm not even trying to hate on them. I'm just pointing out facts, man. I am pointing out fucking facts. This is not about. So again, do your homework. Do your homework. If you're a fucking driver for Home Depot, that means that you've gone through their employment process, probably have taken a drug test and a background check. And you can say then that you are a Home Depot driver if you are driving their vehicles, because more likely you're gonna have to drive their vehicles if they do that shit. Now, in keeping consistent with what I've mentioned about giving folk the numbers behind the numbers and the story behind the numbers, I happen to be on a last mile gig delivery opportunity, taking full cans of paint from Greenwood, South Carolina to Lancaster, South Carolina. Total driving distance is about an hour and 45 minutes because you got to go. I'm having to take back roads and not freeway to get there. I mean, that is the fastest way to get there. And I am going to earn $250. The total distance is 100 miles. Now, quite honestly, this actually appeared yesterday as I was driving across state to Greenville. This so far is all I got going right now. But hey, this opportunity appeared yesterday. I actually put in a bid for $250 on it, and was told that I wasn't selected. Then I was contacted earlier this morning, asked me, hey, is your driver, are you still available to do this? I'm like, yeah, I'm still available to do this. Okay, great, you got it now. So that's why I am now driving to Lancaster, South Carolina. But yeah, full cans of paint. We talk about doing easy money. That's fucking easy money. I'm pretty sure a lot of folk wouldn't mind delivering those full cans of paint that I showed here on the inset for $250. Now, reason why I didn't get it at first is because supposedly I was underbidded. I'm gonna end this segment of the Gig Geezer by giving my wholehearted congratulations to Mike Drop Barbecue for a recent segment that he uploaded. Now, you want to talk about putting out content that makes you think, but also content that you can search for yourself and understand this is something that's for your benefit and not going to mislead you. he put up something recently about contracts. The topic is about contracts, and it's something that we basically really need to understand for ourselves as independent contractors and as we work these gig apps. And I have put out content and I've made statements about some of these terms of service agreements in which I say that they are slanted, they are tilted for the gig app company. In fact, one of the terms that Mike Drop used in his latest upload is about undue influence, which is basically when you set up something, you skew the tables, you set things up to where you have an unfair advantage. And that's what a lot of these gig apps do, namely DoorDash, Uber Eats, Uber, Lyft, Instacart. You ever check out those terms of services, you'll see how it's all set up for them. Then there's duress. These what these gig apps companies do to keep from just outright violating the law, because Mike Drop talks about Sherman Antitrust Act. Duress. If you do not agree to this, if you don't click agree, then you cannot do any orders for us. If you don't do this, you may be deactivated. It's kind of like, as one of the analogies is like you deal with a crook and they pretty much put you in a position where it's either this, you do this, either decision or not, either decision you make is not for your own good. It always is going to benefit for the crook. So that's just a nicer way of saying, that's just kind of my way of saying things, but it pretty much is applicable to what Mike Drop Barbecue is talking about. Then there's voidable, and they're a voided contract, a contract that can be voided. If it's something that to be voided, it's because it's illegal. If it's voidable, it's based on, there's an offer, there's consideration of that offer, and it may not be exactly what you want, but you may still go along with it. And Mike Drop used it in the context with, as a rideshare driver, as an independent contract, he finds that these offers are voidable, so he sets up his own contract. You gotta understand that contracts are either verbal or written. And so if he's able to set up his own terms for that ride, then that becomes a new agreement. And legally speaking, it does become the new agreement. And it's like, fuck what Uber say, this is what I'm gonna go with, because I am in business for myself. Yeah. Now, how does it relate to gig food apps? Well, you can't do that. You can't negotiate for another amount to be paid on the DoorDash app or the Grubhub app or the Uber Eats app or even Instacart. But as an independent contractor, you don't have to accept it. You don't have to go along with that shit. But here's where there's that undue influence. DoorDash sets it up to where if you don't go along with the mind game that, hey, if I'm not accepting all these fucking orders and completing all these fucking orders, supposedly I'm led to believe that I won't see any really nice and really decent paying orders. I'll only see the shit orders. So I gotta give it to Mike Drop Barbecue on this. I'm taking the time to give him his due on this because it's very important. My talking about the new norm and all, where you're seeing how these rates of the offers on the last mile gig apps have dropped, that have plummeted as they have. I'm not gonna say that it's an undue influence, but let's put it like this. They're doing things that is in their advantage. They're doing things that is to their advantage, okay? And it's up to you, if you claim to be in business for yourself, to make better decisions for yourself, because ultimately you're the one that is out here. And as long as it's not that you're the one that's out here, okay? And if you're complaining about not making any money, that's on you. So that's all I have to share for this segment of the Gig Geezer. This is what I earned today. This is a picture of where I drop, where at least my dropping off the cans of paint. This is where I'm at for the week. Again, as I'm actually documenting this, I'm including this particular order drop off. I'm at $9,580 for the month, and just over $59,000 for the year. And so with that, if you like the content that's been provided in this segment or in any other segment, hit that subscribe button, give my content a thumbs up, share my content among others, and I definitely welcome comments in the section below. I'm Inwood Lane. As always, may your grind and may your hustle continue.